Hi, my name is Christian Tello. I am a photographer, filmmaker, and founder of UBU Boston. Why does 2026 feel the right time to start this channel? You know, it's not because I just got into this. I have done something like this in the past. Last year, I created an episode of why I was starting in 2025, and a lot of things happened during that year. I had a lot of life events, had a lot of business coming my way, and that halted my time with it. My time was very consumed by so many projects. So I had to, soon after I posted the first episode, there was a lot of self criticism and learning from watching myself and posting it. You kind of open up your world to being a little more vulnerable to, your perspective of life, where you stand, where your mind is at. It really exposes who you are, and now me doing it again, the timing is much better now. I was planning on starting this channel at the beginning of this year in January, but I had this great opportunity that I couldn't say no to. So I fully focused on that. January was a very very busy month with pre-production for that project, and then delivering in February and not closing down on post-production. So there was so much work involved into that, and so much self-development, so much growth, so much learning at the same time. This is the biggest project I've ever done. So without that project, I don't think I would have the same confidence as I would have last year when I first started. Photography is my first passion, and I work on that every single day. But I found my system, since that is my main craft. I found great systems for myself where I can keep improving and keep going on that, without having to sacrifice any time for it, because I'm so efficient and so effective with my methods that it takes a lot for me to fall off that aspect of who I am. It's the part of me now. But filmmaking has been a very very big challenge. So you have to learn on the go. Sometimes I get these crazy ideas, these crazy artists that have a vision. I have to adapt at the same time, and learn how to tap into their perspective in their brain and have their vision come alive with my craft. So the collaboration there is it's so important for as an artist, just because these are opportunities that come by here and there. And there's a lot of beginner artists, and there's a lot of them that are still in the development stages, which require maybe other photographers and filmmakers that are early in their film stage, so they can grow together, and there's almost a more clarity and learn how to communicate, because we all have our specific way of communicating. We're all completely different. Some people are type A, type B. I'm a little more reserved. I'm a big thinker. You can really learn a lot from them, but you can also experience your own craft in a different way, where there's not a lot of responsibility just on you. So you're able to enjoy the process and learn from the process more, because you can lean on your teammates. You can lean on somebody to really excel and deliver at a higher outcome. And the more you do that, the more hooked you get into your craft, the more you want to do, and the more you start falling into that dimension of who you are, to really just grow as an artist and understand how to respect other people, and how to really be more in tune with your emotions. For me, it's very black and white for mostly everything. Even for the camera I choose to shoot on, and the cameras that I continue to buy and the brand I use, with Sony, just because I really fall into the technical aspect. A lot of people just have brand loyalty. They start with an icon. They'll always shoot with an icon, or they shoot with a Canon. They invested themselves into that world, and the colors of it and the science behind what Canon does with their bodies. But for me, I always wanted to shoot in low light. I love night photography, street night photography, films. Most films that I enjoy watching and creating are in the dark. So that's my perspective of my art. So because I understand the technical aspect, so I'm not gonna sacrifice quality over ego, over perspective, over biased, or just maybe because I don't know you how to use the camera and I have to learn on the go, and it might be a bigger challenge to me. But at the end of the challenge, at the end of the project, I know I become very comfortable using that camera, and your experience keeps growing. You become better. You become more well diverse. Standard that I have for myself is I know when I go out and shoot and I'm always gonna get a good shot. That's the mentality I go into it. Some people, go out and they're so critical of themselves and fall into the perfection aspect of art, and they might have a lot of great shots in their body and their camera, but they can't see it themselves, so they think and this is my perspective, that they think that they didn't get a good shot, and they stay very humble. They stay, who cares, at the end of the day, you pose like it's even posting on Instagram now. That's another reason I'm creating this, because Instagram, it's a very tough platform to really share your work as an artist. I really strive to learn from other people's work and understanding their perspectives, understanding why they do their craft and the way they do it, and notice that there really is no competition. It's more of what you think is the best shot, because there's plenty of room for everybody in the business world. There's more people keep fighting themselves and fighting each other to get more business, and it's sad, because if you work together, you can get that good business. And it's gonna be times you have to sacrifice the art of your craft for to keep living in this world, and kind of keep succeeding and be able to upgrade your gear, get better lighting, invest in yourself, have a quality of life, all that stuff. You don't have to be a broke artist. You just don't have to be a broke artist. There's plenty of money in this world, and especially in marketing and in media. So you just gotta you gotta take a bite at it. You have to get what's it's meant, what's available. Not even what's meant for you. What's available there, and not all of us know how to take a bite out of that industry. And so part of this channel is to open that gateway up, so I can start working with a lot of more local businesses here in Boston. And I grew up here. I'm Mexican, and I was there till I was 7 years old. But I grew up in Boston. Boston is my home. Boston is it's what I feel represents me, and I represent it itself. I want to work with local businesses. I want to create a community here. Right now, it's challenging. People forget photography is a luxury. With everyone creating their own content with their phones, creating all that kind of stuff, but on their own, they think that when you show up, they don't value your time by even just being there to pay you a lot. So then you're coming up with $5,000 to $10,000 worth of equipment, and you're being undervalued because people don't understand the risk you're even bringing. Most photographers and videographers, when they start, you don't have insurance for your gear. You don't have an LLC to protect you. We don't all get those benefits from the beginning. Even if you're all these false fears that we give ourselves, it's what really is holding us back. Because if you start being disciplined, you start believing in yourself. Your discipline becomes easy because you enjoy what you're doing. When even waking up, going to the gym, you're gonna enjoy that for yourself. Eventually, once you get past, like the soreness, and you get past all the initial extra work you have to do, you build a great relationship with it, where you understand it's good for you. It's good for your heart. It's good for your health. It's good to extend who you are. It's a great extension of you. And you start doing that. When you start doing that with your craft, you have to let your craft be your identity. Because if you can do that, if you allow it to consume you, your discipline would not feel like discipline. Your discipline will always be fun. You'll have fun every single day because you enjoy setting up your trap, or you enjoy setting up the lighting yourself. It's good to have a lot help with all the time. It's always better because you learn more from each other, and you come to a solution together, and nothing beats that. Working as a team with somebody, nothing beats that. You all get to kind of decide what's next, depending on what you want to focus on. And after this event, my focus now is a YouTube channel. It's something I've always wanted to do ever since YouTube started a long time ago. Last year, I thought it was a really good opportunity to jump on it. They were advertising it, so my thought process in the business aspect, if they're advertising, they're ready to put a lot of money into it. They're already putting money into it by doing self-advertising. The amount of money that comes, the wave of after that, because they already invested so much money into it, they're gonna make sure it works. They're gonna make sure that they get more content creators, because no matter what, the future is leading to that. That's what AI is doing now. It's creating even more competition because workflows have become so efficient and so effective that if you're not in this world, like you might as well go get a job because a lot it's it AI is almost like I feel like a lot of artists see it if you use it you become a traitor to your craft, right? Because art should not be AI. It should always become from from a human soul. It should always be an expression of ourselves and of a living organism. So AI can never be art because true art comes from that, from hard work, life experience, and all that stuff. So I think what we need to educate people on and educate not people but to educate society is that teach them what art really is, so we can all benefit as an artist from AI. Because if the whole world knows what art is, if we teach the world what art is, we can coexist with AI. But we all have to take the responsibility and teach everyone, around us what art really is, and all the real artists are gonna understand that. They're gonna understand that, have the confidence in yourself that your art cannot be replaced because AI is never going to experience your emotions, your feelings, and all that stuff. It's always going to be a pattern of logic. It's and I've lived in my mind in a logical way, and you don't get true emotion. When I'm super logical with my work, I don't get my art and my self expression stays hidden. And when I let loose, when I let my feelings come through me, when I let my emotions come out, when I either laugh, crying, being angry, being just expressive in any way, in any feeling you have, if you allow yourself to do that, you will allow yourself to create art. And that's not something I think as a human that AI can do. It will do a replication of that, just like it does with our faces, just like it does with art. But at the end of the day, human. Art is human. And we got to take the responsibility as artists, whatever your craft is, whether it's opera, whether it's dancing, whether it's videography, filmmaking, anything, drawing, coloring. You have to take accountability in that. And if the people around you don't understand what art is, you got to hold yourself accountable and tell yourself, why don't they do it? If I'm an artist, why don't the people around me understand art? Why can I take at least my circle group, whether it's my friends or family, and even if it's an embarrassing thing to talk about and engrave into their head, we have to do that. We have to do the hard thing, and not even for your family, to save them, almost for yourself and your craft, so people understand what you're doing, and not just letting them think what they think. We're all self-independent thinkers, but why not influence the people we love? With what your craft is. And this is to talking to the artist. If you're into the business world, you know I'm sure it's in your benefit to teach your parents, your whoever's along you, the business world. So a lot of these artists get spoiled, and no one wants to talk about it. You got so many spoiled artists that make it and then forget about community, forget about creating paths for everybody else. There should be so many paths for creators and for artists and in any craft. My goal of this channel is to encourage more leaders to take those roles because I don't want to do it by myself. And there's plenty of room. I don't want to carry a whole community. I want to work with people to have leaders in place where it becomes an easy thing. It becomes its own economy. It becomes its own family tree. It becomes its own ecosystem. If I can create that by giving more opportunity to everyone else and creating almost a harmony, this is an invitation for any local artist in Boston or business that wants to either work together on a project, or you got funding for a big project and you're looking for someone to work with you on that, or connect with you more and co-host and interview you on my channel, and see where people can reach reach your craft, see how they can work with you, and just start creating a community here of exposure for leaders and non-leaders that want to keep growing and kind of have a scene for this industry, because we got to carry it. That's what this channel is for. And I'm going to be creating subcategories of all the topics I talked about and going to a deeper level. And also creating this channel is going to allow me to keep learning more because I don't want to run out of things to talk about, and I don't want to run out of updates and what I learn every week. And I want to be able to give on like almost live, close to live perspective of the way I'm swimming in the economy and swimming in this industry. Ensure where things paid off and where things didn't, but you know, even if they don't, there's always something you can learn from it. So how to win in every situation. That's kind of what I want to keep talking about on this channel, and kind of like keep myself accountable so I can keep creating and not run out of things to say. That's episode 1.